We're going to start up here in just a couple minutes. I think I've got everything working here. So we've got on here, we've got Facebook Live. On this channel here, we have YouTube Live, and over here, any of your comments, and we can all go from there. Give me 1 second. I've got one thing I need to do. There we go. I think we're back up and running. Okay, so first thing is first. Thank you guys for checking us out today. The unfortunate part of COVID, which we just squeaked through last year, was our shows. So we usually do 3, 4, 5 shows throughout a year. And last year we fit our last one in, and then everything happened after that, and everything got shut down. And this year, unfortunately, January, February, March, and they all got canceled. So we decided to do a live one for you guys today, so that you guys can ask questions. So go ahead and type them in there. Like I said, I've got some of them broadcast way up on the big screen here in the shop. As you can see in the background here, this is our new shop, which is brand new for anybody who we didn't talk to last year at all of our shows. We opened up a brand new shop just north of Pittsburgh, first one for our company, and we have plans for more down the road. But yeah, go ahead and throw some questions by. I've got like all 3 things going at the same time. Maybe I'll take a picture later and shoot it off to you guys. So yeah, ask some questions away. That's what we're here for today. A couple of our objectives. First, we're just going to go over how the company's been doing in the last year, go over some products, give you guys an introduction to the brand itself for some of you guys who have never met me or aren't in the area. Let you know who I am and what Risen Fly Fishing is all about. We'll go through some products demonstrations on some of our major product lines, as well as some things that we're working on here for the future. Let you a little bit insight as to how all of our production's going. A little hints, ship orderable, everything's behind, but we're getting closer. And then as we go through the Q&A, we'll go through that. Hopefully this will last an hour, hour and a half max. Depending on how many questions you guys have. First and foremost, this was my last tech thing that I finished about 3 minutes ago. So yeah, you see this? All of you guys are seeing it backwards because all of these cameras are mirror imaged, and it took me forever to figure it out. But kabam, now we have it. Okay, so I figured out how to mirror image print, and it took me like 20 minutes, but I got it. So here you guys go. If you haven't seen this already, this code is good for 20% off of everything on the site. If you're close enough for the, I see a question, Troy, I'll get to you. If you're close enough for the shop, you can choose to pick it up in the shop as well. So yes, here is the code that you're going to be using for everything today, tomorrow, and Sunday. Hope you guys can take advantage of that. Grab everything available for this because, yeah. You wouldn't make any money on this. Anyways, so Troy, I see. Where did you come up with your brand name? What's more personal backstory and inspiration? That's a great question because that's probably where we're going to start with this. So if I haven't fully introduced myself, my name's Ryan. I started the company Risen Fly Fishing back in 2012. The inspiration behind the whole brand was I was just sick and tired of the high prices out in the fly fishing market. So I just got a magazine in the mail from one of the big companies out there, and one of the major brands has a new fly rod at $1,100. This is just a regular plain old fly rod. Yes, it's made in the US. Yes, it's got great brand recognition, but I do a lot of teaching in fly fishing. Even before I started the company, one of my goals was just to teach someone how to fly fish every year. Hand them a fly rod, take them out, show them how to catch some fish, have a ball. And when they're finished and you tell them, hey, you need to spend $500 on a rod and $300 on a reel and $100 on a fly line. You need waders, you need a pack, you need tools, you need flies. Hey, guess what? Flies are $2.50 a piece, and you need a couple hundred of those. So by the time you're all done, I'll get to that next. Yes, so I decided to start a brand, get good quality gear without the high price tag, and make it available to everybody. Not only do that, but have a lifetime warranty on everything too. A lot of companies are going away from that in the near future. In the last couple of years, especially, you look at companies like Cabela's after they had the merger with Bass Pro, and their warranty used to be fantastic. You used to walk in, here's my broken rod, they hand you a new one and walk out. But a lot of companies are doing away with lifetime. They're doing 10-year, 25-year, 1 year. Look at LL Bean and what they changed in the last year or so, going away from their lifetime warranty to a 1 year with a receipt to original owner. So we decided to do a lifetime warranty with our products. If you break it, whether it's due to stupidity or your dog ate it or your kid stuck it in a ceiling fan or you fell on the stream or whatever else, we have a small warranty processing fee on the website. You can claim everything there. We ship you out a replacement piece. A lot of times you're back fishing within a week with the warranty claim. We have a few exceptions to those rules when we're out of stock on something, but hopefully we can get that all back to you in no time. Next thing is price. Like I said before, we wanted to make things affordable. You can go out to Walmart and get a spinning outfit for $25 and go catch some fish. But in fly fishing, a lot of the low-end gear is still $200 for a rod and $150, $200 for a reel. And we wanted to be able to provide some good quality gear without those high prices. So that's where it started. So I started the brand. We opened up in October of 2012 on our website. I actually sold some things on eBay for a couple months prior to that. We started out with 2 reels, both of which we've moved on because it's been about 8 years, some fly lines, backing, things like that. And then we just continue to grow the brand and add more and more products every year. The last 2 or 3 years have gone so well that I decided to open up this fly shop. You can see a little bit of it here. And in the last year or so, we've been growing like crazy. You guys have been supporting us, which we've appreciated. And now things continue to go well to possibly franchise. So that's a big announcement here. Not quite there. I want to put another year or 2 in just to see how the sales are here. I'm laughing because this is not a fly fishing market. It's just about 7 minutes from my house. So that helps. But yes, we're looking at possibly opening in some other markets all across the country. So we've got a couple out west. We've got a couple more local. And we'll do that under our brand label. So it won't just be like we have maybe about a dozen shops that carry our products. So for instance, like the Neshannock Creek shop, which is about 45 minutes north of us, does carry rods and reels and boxes and a few other things. And we've got other places. You can actually check it out at the very bottom of our website. There's a map with all of our shops that carry our products if you want to see them face to face. So yeah, we're going to continue to grow that. So a big pitch here is if you do have a fly shop local and you want to see our products in there, hey Jason, reach out to us. We would love does decide to add our products. So there is some incentive for you making an introduction for us. So don't just say, hey, go see XYZ Fly Shop. If it's like, hey, I talked to Jim at the fly shop and he's expecting your phone call. Here's his phone number. We would love that. Get our gear in your shops so that you guys can see them face to face, and then we'll give you a gift card for the referral on that. Not too many other companies are doing things like that. Other things that we do, we've got professional programs for fly shops, for guides. We've got a handful of companies out there that have online websites, online only, that we have programs for every single one of those to be able to help out. We also have veteran discounts every single day of the year. So if you're a veteran, reach out to us, email me at ryan@risenfly.com. We appreciate everything that you guys have done, and we want to give back to you. Hey, Joe. So I saw a couple other questions, and my TV isn't working, so I've got to go here, and we're probably going to shake everything. So back to the inspiration of the brand. So also people ask me, like, are you a Christian company? Because we see all the names here. Service that I work so hard at. So one of the big things we did this year is I hired somebody. He is he has had the privilege of marrying my little sister. So he's my brother-in-law, but he's actually in our shop at 6 a.m. every morning, except for Thursdays, he works beside me, so that he can ship all of our orders from the day prior, get them out to the post office so we can get them to you as quick as possible. So he decided to work that super early shift so that we can get the best shipping timeframes as possible. Like I said, always exceptions to the rules, but we did that to make sure that we can get products out to you. It's funny, we've got guys local who are getting deliveries next day. You know, the Pennsylvania, Ohio, New York, West Virginia area. Sometimes we're getting next day deliveries on your orders just because we're getting them out first thing in the morning. The post office is shipping them out from there. We've also added UPS because sometimes the post office is a nightmare. Our typical 2-day shipping that we pay for 2 days is showing up in 7 to 10 days. So UPS is giving us a little better time frames on that. Yes, I see, Carrie, you said you broke your 7.5 foot 3 weight. Hopefully, you can reach out to us if you haven't already, and I'll direct you on the website where to do the warranty claim, and we'll get a new piece out to you as soon as possible. On all of the other things, I'm trying to touch on 10 different things. I'm going to show this again because it's already been a couple minutes. This is what I tried to show earlier, but the mirror image doesn't work as I pulled up my phone to try to simulcast all these videos. So there we go. That works better for you. I did the mirror image. So check this out. Make sure that you, yeah, Carrie, I remember now. Yes, you did get it. Make sure you hop on the website. This is good for today, tomorrow, and on Sunday. Hopefully we're seeing all 3 streams at the same time there. 20% off. We usually do some discounts at our shows. We know nobody could make them because they were all canceled. And we want to get back to you guys for supporting us and give you a nice sale as the season's coming around the corner. I'm going to actually go grab it. I'm going to start going through some product demonstrations. So if you're looking for something specific, let me know. And I'll go over it. I'll grab it off our display counter and wall here, and we'll go over it. So give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Rule number 1 in a fly shop this last year. It took us about 18 months to get through this project. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate that. So we did prototyping on freshwater, saltwater. We did just general casting to try to get the best performance we possibly could out of this rod. Local guys catching pike and muskie, saltwater guys catching stripers, redfish, bluefish, all that fun stuff. We had a guy testing some things on turbot and permit as well. So this Goliath rod that we brought out in the fall of last year, we spent, like I said, about 18 months for it. Some of the big things for this rod, one of the things that I want to shoot a huge thank you out to Ryan Keene is he did the artwork on a rod tube here. So we did a carbon fiber rod tube with a Keene. Is right out of Pittsburgh. The dude does amazing work. We have some stickers on our website, as well as the original piece that you can get on the rods here. And then you can check him out on his website for some of the original art. So the art piece is phenomenal. The carbon fiber rod tube is a big upgrade. The golf grip is what everybody's talking about. People are like, oh, I'm not so sure about that. The guys that are using this rod already, they are ecstatic about it, especially like my big game guys, which is what this is all about. We've got an 8-weight, a 10-weight, and 12-weight out now. We're building a 9-weight right now, so we should add that to the website hopefully in the next couple months once those get delivered to us, as all our packages are being delayed right now. But they're pitting their cork grips. You know, you put so much effort into those casts, especially when you're fishing big pike and muskie flies. There's so much pressure that I know guys that have, one of the guys that helped build our prototype, he dug one of his rods all the way down to the blank through the cork because you're putting so much effort into double hauling and throwing those big flies, that these golf grips have been phenomenal and in wet conditions, which some people were worried about. So they've been great. We put top end guides on this, reel seat, everything's stainless steel. So if you do go into the salt, this is perfectly capable of taking a beating and not having to worry about any corrosion there. One of my favorite stories about this, we had our grand opening. We had to delay it because of all the fun COVID stuff last year, in May of last year. And we had a guy come out. He's like, I came out just because I wanted to see this rod. And I see him at all my shows. Hey, Mark, if you're watching. And we had a ton of people in the shop. And he's like, can I cast one? I said, sure. I got everything lined up out there. So he goes out in the parking lot, casts the line. I walk out. And I was like, hey, how do you like the rod? He looks down. He's about 15 feet into the backing. He goes, I think I like it. So this thing is an absolute rocket. I've put it in hands of professionals, people who fish all the time, and beginners. And they all say the same thing. I can't believe how much line I can actually throw with this rod. That it's just easy in hand. It's got a good soft tip, but a stiff backbone to fight those bigger fish too. We're starting to see some big fish being put out there off of this rod. Jacob over in the Richmond, Virginia area landed a monster muskie on this about a month or two back. And it's been awesome to see people actually fishing this rod now after we spent so much time prototyping. So if you're going to use 20% on anything, check out the Goliath rod. You guys are going to be ecstatic about this. So that was our big introduction last year. The The other thing that we added with this, which I will first of all take an apology on, not all my fault, but I'll still take the blame, is the whale reel that we're bringing out to match this. So the frame on the reel will be the same color as the blank. The spool will be a chartreuse similar to the wrap, and then we're getting a purple accent on the inside on the drag knob and the other side of the reel as well. The spool release. Our manufacturer got shut down for about 4 months on that project, so it's been hard for us to finish when they're not open. And anodizing them, we had a couple color issues, so we had to go through a couple rounds of color prototyping on that. And those will be out hopefully in the next 2 months if I'm lucky. So I apologize for everybody who did the deposit program on that. We're going to get that out to you as soon as possible. And we're pretty excited to see how awesome that combo looks together. So that's the Goliath. If you guys have any questions on that, shoot that over. Yes, Brandon, we are going to do a combo for the Goliath and the whale for everything else. We're also, which we just added to the website, we haven't taken a lot of pictures. We added a lot of saltwater flies as well. So I've got about 30,000 flies that came in a shipment that I'm taking pictures and adding to the website once we get time, which I don't, which is nice. I just hired a part-timer for the shop, which will help out with some of that stuff. So yeah, we have about 30,000 flies we're adding to the website. Saltwater flies to help out with some of the guys who are actually fishing the salt with this. We've got a lot more tungsten, a handful of other fun new patterns as well in tungsten nymphs and things like that. So check out the website. Yes, we're going to do combos, and we're also going to, I'll get to you, Pat. I see that. You get a rod, a reel, backing, fly line, a leader, and a box of 4 dozen flies. So we have that for small stream trout, regular trout, bass, steelhead, salmon, and we're going to have a saltwater kit for this as well. So keep an eye out on that. Once we get that reel put together, we're going to throw all this combo together as well. So yeah, Pat, he has the 23 PS nymph rod and the 11-foot 3-weight and the Gideon reel. Totally impressed with the quality, sensitivity of it. Let's go over that. Let's go over that rod. So thanks, Pat. You can give me a good entry into our next rod that we're going to go over. So the next rod here is our nymph rod. So this is our 10-foot 2. The guy's waiting for the 10-foot 3-weights. I was supposed to get them about 4 weeks ago, and they've been stuck in customs for 4 weeks. So I'm not happy, but it's out of my hands. Hopefully they'll get released soon. We have a bunch of them coming, and we have a bunch of them ready to be walked out the door here in the shop, and a couple people waiting online for them as well. We should have these soon in the 10-foot 3-weight. We do have in stock the 10-foot 2-weight, which is this one, the 11-foot 3-weight, and we added a 10-foot 4-weight late last year as well. That 10-foot 4-weight is available now. So 10-foot 3-weight, we are hoping it gets released any day now, and we'll have that available for you guys as soon as possible. I know the season is here, and I'm sorry, but it's out of my hands. So let's touch on that before I go any further. Some of the things that we have out of stock that we expect coming in soon, and then just kind of a little bit of an explanation of things. So typically when I work through my manufacturers, we've got 5 different countries that we get products made in all over the world. Put an order in, they build it, I make my final payment, it gets sent to me. That process 2 years ago took about 3 to 4 months. From the day I ordered it to the day it showed up at my place of business, we'll call it. Because we had storage units and houses and all kinds of places that we did before we opened up the shop. Now, my shipping costs went through the roof. They went up about 40%. So, you know, these things aren't cheap to ship. So they went up hundreds of dollars to ship. So to counteract that, we are doing sea shipment rather than air shipment, going into some fun details. But my build projects, instead of taking 3 to 4 months, they're taking 9 to 12 months now. So like the ITB rods that we've been out of stock on forever, I ordered some of those in March last year. They should have been done in June last year. They're coming in the next month. So yes, you guys want to buy them. I want to get them in your hands so you can go out and fish them. And it's been completely out of my hands because a lot of these facilities shut down, or they went to skeleton crews where they're working at 10, 20% capacity. And they just haven't been able to finish our rod builds for us. And that's the whole industry. So you're probably seeing some other companies out there that aren't fulfilling warranties because they just don't have product, or their products are out of stock, or raw materials are on a shortage because there's been such an influx in this industry in the last 12 months that so many people are getting into outdoor activities because of COVID, where they couldn't vacation anywhere. So fishing, hunting, hiking, boating, all these outdoor activities, RVs, went out like crazy in the last 12 months, and the demand is well over the supply right now. So we're trying our best to get things back in stock. So our ITB rods, almost every single size is done now. And if some of you guys pre-ordered the 9-foot 4 weights, those are actually shipped. We should have them in a couple weeks. Sea shipments, not only is it taking 9 to 12 months rather than 3 or 4, but it's taking about 6 weeks to ship them to us too, rather than a week and a half like we had before. So I will apologize. It is out of my hands, but I'm trying as best as I can to get you guys the products that you're looking for. See you guys conversing together. Jason on there, he's our West Coast rep. He's excited to do our Pyramid Lake trip. So we've got 5 guys joining Jason for Pyramid Lake. Just in a couple of days, they're starting to fish. So if you don't know Pyramid Lake, we're going to do an annual trip there. We're working on maybe a possible cast and blast out in that area as well. Jason's repping the brand out in that area. So shout out to Jason. He's been doing an awesome job out there. Just giving some introductions to our brand to other people out West Coast. He's in the Reno, Nevada area, as we talked about when he came out this way to fish with me last year. So if you're interested for next year, we're already looking at booking some trips there. So we've got the Pyramid Lake, literally world record size cutthroat trout. 10 to 20 pounders are pretty regular, and they're even getting some over that. So if you're interested in that trip, reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to have you go. The other trip that's coming up soon, I mean everything right now, so we're just going to go as best as possible, is Montana. We've got a lodge we connected with in Montana. They had an ownership change. They loved our brand and wanted to work with us, so we kind of get rights to some of the calendar before everybody else does. So we're doing a trip in the first week in June. We've got a couple open spots, so we'd love to have you out for that if you're interested in that. Yeah, Jason just said there was a 22-pounder cutthroat caught in Pyramid yesterday. And unfortunately, it wasn't his son, but his son's putting up some big fish lately. So Montana is coming up in June, and then our very popular Salmon River trip that I personally host and treat everybody to is in October. We have 2 sets of dates for those. So we have people that fly in for that trip, and we have people that drive in. It takes me about 6 hours to get there, and it's an absolute blast. I've had so many people that have gone on that trip, and they said it's better than I ever expected and very, very affordable as well. Yes, Jason's explaining on our Facebook page a little bit more about the trip and discounts and all kinds of fun stuff like that. So you guys should join him. Hopefully next year we'll have a lot more options for you guys. And then he just connected. He's actually a licensed guide now, and connected with a hunting guide. So we have some initial plans to maybe do a cast and blast in the fall, fishing the Truckee River out there with him, and then maybe doing a chucker and quail hunt out that way, which I just got into it. Talking about new outdoor activities, I got into pheasant hunting last year, and it's been a blast, unintended. So yes, YouTube keeps freezing. I see that. I'm sorry. I'm running like 8 different record everything, and then we're going to post it there so you can watch it later as well. And same thing for Instagram and Facebook. That we'll be able to post it if you do miss it and it does keep freezing on you. Sorry. But we'll have it posted. You can go back and watch some things later. So let's get back to our next product demonstration, which is our 23 PS nymph rod. So this rod this was probably our second most amount of time we spent on a rod to talk to a lot of guys, competition nymph, guys who just nymph a ton on what they're looking for. And with this rod, we built it on some of the highest quality components that we could find out there. So an IM12 graphite blank, same quality graphite as you're seeing as these top end rods out there that are cost in the range of $600, $700, $800 rods. So that's the compression of the modules and the graphite to get lighter weight, faster action, and just better response on the blank itself. So this is built. Thanks, Jeff. I haven't seen you in a while. Pop back in the shop. This is built really to compete with those rods. And like I said in the beginning about why we started the brand, is to get good quality gear out there without the high price tag. You can see the literal price tag on here. And this rod retails at $299. So these rods Everybody boasts that too, because most guys are running, like our Euro nymph rod or a mono rig or anything like that. Let me interrupt. YouTube, if you haven't seen already, I know we just froze. We have it on Facebook and Instagram. If you're not seeing this and it's freezing on you, hop over to those other places and we'll be more than happy to take care of you there. Sorry about the connection. We just have a bad connection here all the time. So we built these rods with a super sensitive tip, a stiff butt section on them, so that you're feeling everything and you're being able to fight some of those bigger fish too. This 10-foot 2-weight, I fished the 10-foot 3 and the 10-foot 2, and I seem to go to the 10-foot 2 a lot more. I've been able to handle some 18 to 20-inch fish on this 2-weight without an issue whatsoever. The sensitivity of these things is off the charts. So it's crazy the people that are coming back that have nymphed with a 9-foot 5-weight or even nymphed with another nymph rod, and they're coming in here and saying, I can't believe how much more I feel with this rod compared to other rods out there. And I won't name any other brands because I always like to talk well about other companies out there. This is a great already. Make sure that you are shopping on the website, logging in, using this coupon code for today, tomorrow, and Sunday. And you're going to get a phenomenal deal on this. Sorry for the shake. I've got a little arm on my phone there that's connected to the table, so it's shaking whenever I touch the table. But yes, so we put top end guides on this. We put single foot stripper guides all the way through to help with better line management than your snake guides. So with some of those thinner fly lines and the mono rigs that you're using, our single snake or single foot guides there helps out better in just some line control and line management. If you're interested in more details on Euro nymphing as a whole, feel free to reach out to me. I hand tie some leaders on the website, and we've got a ton of Euro nymphs on. We're adding a lot of those each and every time that we order flies. We're adding more. So our barbless tungsten jigs, and then we're adding other tungsten flies not on a jig hook as well. Have been flying out the door, especially at $1.90. Those are $4 to $5 flies at most other places out there. So at $1.90, you can't beat it. And also remember, all of our flies on our website, when you do a half dozen, sometimes we have them in stock, you get a little bit of a discount. So I think a half dozen tungsten bead flies are like $10.50, I believe. So where can you get tungsten flies like that for like the 10-foot 3-weight, which we're out of stock, is by far our most popular size. It's a good one to start with. But if you want more sensitivity, step down to the 2-weight. If you want more reach, go up to the 11-foot 3-weight. If you need a beefier rod, go to the 4-weight. We're working on a new rod series that'll probably be brought out next year. We might bring out some other sizes. I know some guys want to steelhead fish with like a 5 or 6-weight in Erie, where we are, or they're on some bigger water with faster flows or bigger fish, and they really need that backbone. So we're looking at bringing out some other sizes in weights and also in lengths. So some 10, 10.5 foot, 11-foot rods in a handful of sizes. So we're working on prototyping some of that, tweaking a few things different than this rod, so that we have some different options for people out there. That's really, just to kind of get to our product lineup, that's really something that I worked hard on when we are prototyping and developing new rods, is something that's different in each series. So like our Genesis series is a good moderate fast action rod, where you've got a lot of feel on that rod. A lot of our beginners, when they're fishing those tip flex fast action rod, they lose all the feel. They can't feel where the rod's loading. They lose it. They're snapping their casts, and they're not learning properly how to cast a fly rod. So we built that Genesis rod as a great entry-level rod, but also something for somebody who is just getting into the sport and trying to learn the mechanics of everything. The next step up in the ITB series, we added a little bit more flex to that. In a lot of the smaller, tighter situations, doing is you're increasing your line speed, and we're trying to make a delicate cast to a rising fish to a dry fly. That line speed is your enemy. You want a delicate cast that floats the fly down and leaves a better presentation for you. So that ITB series has more. It's a lot more sensitive for nymphing, and then the sensitivity of how the casts are laid out, the people that actually cast that compared to those fast action rods out there that the industry has pushed so heavily in the last 5 to 10 years. People are unbelievably impressed with how much they can feel the rod load and how delicate the presentations are and how much feel the rod has. So as you can see on the website, a lot of those sizes are sold out right now, but we should have most of them in stock in the next, I would say, 4 to 6 weeks. They should be back here unless custom screws us over again. But we're working on that. So yes, that's the next level. Our 23 PS rod, which we have our nymph rod set up like this, and then we also have our regular sizes in that series as well, from 3 to 8 weights. We added the 8-weight series in like late summer, early fall last year. Those are more of a fast action, but not an ugly fast action. You know, you see broomsticks. I won't name a company, but last year at our show, I swapped off with another brand rep on a rod. He fished, we have casting pools in some of those places, and he cast the 9-foot 5-weight and the 23 PS, and I cast their version of it. I'm pretty sure about 3 inches of the tip of that rod flexed at a full rod load, and I felt like dirty after I cast it. It just had no soul and no feel to it. For our fast action rods, they're faster in the 23 PS series than our other series, but they're not like obscenely fast. And they cast a line very, very well. They cast it in great distances, and they still have enough feel in the flex of the tip to nymph with them and to lay a delicate cast, but also shoot some line speed out when you need that to happen as well. So that's kind of a good bottom to top description of our rods. So we've got our nymph rod, we've got our entry with our Genesis, our mid-grade with our ITB, and our 23 PS is our top end. But each rod series is very different in how it performs and how the blank is built. You know, we don't want to build the same type of blank in 3 different sizes and 3 different price ranges. We want something different for everybody. So I know guys have fished for decades that love our Genesis series just because of how it fishes and matches them so well. And vice versa, we've got people that are like, I just like that fast action. I just started a year ago. I want the 23 PS. Okay, great. You know, go out and fish what fits your style. And that's really why we're trying another pitch to get out into other shops and then open other shops. We want to see you guys have these rods in your hand to be able to test cast them before you buy something. If you ever do buy something off of our site and you don't like it, you know, go out and keep the plastic on the cork and cast it in your backyard. And if you don't like it, we'll do a full refund or exchange it for something else here. So we try to do as best as we can to make sure that everybody's happy with our products and bend over backwards for that. So Phil, hey, you bought a couple things off of us. He says, I really enjoyed the ITB for sure. Yes, it's actually one of my favorite personal rods that I fish a lot. So the 7.5 like 3-weight, which is be in stock here pretty soon. I dry fly fish with that. I fish small streams with it. It's one of my absolute favorites since we started the company. I fish everything because I have to, and I have them. You know, I've got a few extra fly rods at my disposal than most other people, but I definitely have my favorites in each kind of category out there. If it was up to me, I'd have a dry fly on for the rest of my life, but where we are, we don't have that luxury. So I've slayed a few fish on the nymph rod over the years. So let's move on from there. After we went through there, if you haven't logged onto our YouTube channel, I know it's sketchy right now because of the connection, but we've been trying to put out videos every single week. Last week, we did a full product demonstration on our fly boxes. So go ahead and log over to there, subscribe to our channel. We're going to start doing some on the water videos here pretty soon. We were frozen over until about a week and a half ago, but doing some demonstrations and then just some fun days on the water as well. So I'm going to put this rod down, and then I'm going to go over some of our reels as well. So bear with me. So those of you who have been with me for a grand total of 36 minutes already, thank you. I know I can be boring, but that's okay. So once again, if you haven't seen it and you just logged on, here's our coupon code for everybody who wanted to come to a show, but they were all canceled. So just put in the word show at checkout, and you're going to save 20% on literally everything on the entire website today, tomorrow, and Sunday. So make sure that after you're done watching my beautiful face for the next however long, hop onto the website, buy anything you want, get you a discount. Anything over 25 bucks is also free shipping as well. So we're talking about some new products out there, and this is one of the new ones we brought out last year is our Armor 2 reel. People have been absolutely loving them. We have them in 3/4 weight that we have here, 5/6 weight, 7/8 weight in 3 different colors. So we have the forest green, we have the fire orange, I think is what I called it, and then a slate gray. So we have 3 sizes. 4 weights are very low in stock right now. We have a couple hundred more in different sizes coming soon, but our 3/4 weights are pretty low. So if you want to grab one, now would be the time. The great thing about this reel, so this is the 2nd gen of our armor. The reason why we discontinued the 1st gen was nothing wrong with the reel itself, but people were having issues because when you take the spool off of those, there was like a key shape where you had to perfectly fit it all together for the spool to work properly. And we were running into issues where people were kind of jamming it in there and it wasn't grabbing correctly. They were grinding everything out, causing all kinds of issues. So that spool was basically the biggest issue that we wanted to work around. So on the new gen here, there's a little tab there. All you do is slide it over and you slide the spool off. So we had fixed that issue all together so that we didn't have any problems with people not being able, especially when they're changing out spools, to be able to fit it in properly. So all you do is you match up a little hex bearing there and it clicks right into place like you could hear there. So we're going to go into this right-handers who switch your rod and to your other hand so you can reel right-handed. Yes, one of my good friends does that. In almost every single one of our reels, that it's the same thing. So you see this hex bearing in here. Right here, it's got like a little white insert on it. And this is the same for almost every reel out there. They have this little hex bearing. All you're going to do is you're going to pull this off, flip it around, and put it back on. So on the other side, you're going to see the actual steel rather than the white ceramic insert on there. If you see the white ceramic, it should be left-hand retrieve for all us normal people out there. And if you flip it over, you'll see a silver side, and that will flip the retrieve over. That's how you flip almost every single reel out there. There's a very few exceptions to the rule, but that's about it. So this reel comes in at $99 for the 3/4 and 5/6 and $105 for the 7/8 weight. The flat matte finishes as well. Just something new and different that we kind of wanted to work around, and people are loving them. Next up the lineup is our LW reel. This is our waterproof drag reel that we wanted to bring out because there's so many people out there. I always said, like, why do you need a waterproof drag reel on a 5-weight or a 3-weight even? And some people are like, I just want one. Like, okay, so we brought one out. The big advantages to this are, first of all, saltwater, freezing temperatures. So us around the Great Lake region, we love fishing steelhead in horrible conditions because they're just fun. But sometimes when it's under freezing, literally, below 32, and your reel gets wet and it's not sealed, it literally freezes up. So you can't land those fish unless you're extremely lucky. So this reel we brought out as a waterproof drag for those reasons, the drag housing there, and can cause some issues and degrade over time. So we brought this reel out. It's also, we wanted to lighten it up. Those who have put this reel in your hand, it weighs a couple tenths of an ounce lighter than every single counterpart out there. We did some things. We actually, it's part cast, but we used some new cast technology that makes it look almost machined in the quality that we're putting out on it. But we cast the reel foot into the frame. That helps reduce a lot of the weight, reduces screws that we have to put into it, and really lightened everything up. There's a lot of new high-end. Of course, we'd love for you to use our rods, but you're not. Not everybody is. To balance out some of those super lightweight rods, these reels balance out very, very well, as well as having the full waterproof drag system on it as well. Phenomenal, but the machining on the inside for the whole drag housing, which is where the coloration is on the reel, on both sides, the drag knob release, the drag knob is full release, and the internal guts where the drag is all machined. So great reel. We have these out as well in 3/4, 5/6, and 7/8 weight. Black on the frame, green and orange on the insides there. Next level up is a reel that when people actually go out and fish it, they are in awe of it. So this is our Gideon reel, fully machined, carbon disc drag, V-cut spool. If any other company sold this exact reel and slapped their name on it, they probably charge a bare minimum of $250 to $300 on it. And I love it for that reason, because ours starts at $189 for the 3, 4, and 5, 6 weight. So if you want a, this one is all for you. So I've caught king salmon on this, I've caught trout on this, I've caught just bass on this. Almost anything that I normally fish for has been on this reel, and it's been phenomenal. The drag system is super, super smooth. One key tip, as I was looking earlier, whenever you're sitting there for the day and you've got your drag on, so the drag is on here, you want to make sure when you're done fishing for the day, you turn the drag off. Phil, yeah, you have a Gideon too. A couple of them, I think. Because think about like the disc brakes on your car. If they are sitting there pressed together, you might make a farther indent into your rotor in one specific spot because they're stuck there. That's why you have an emergency brake. So here, if you've got one amount of pressure that's constantly on there, you might mess up the consistency of that drag because of it being stuck. So when you're done fishing for the day, turn that drag off on all your reels. So there's a lot of maintenance that you should do in between your fishing days. That's one. Dry out your flies too. We're going to talk a little bit about fly boxes, even though we did on our YouTube channel last week. To talk about those waterproof boxes. They're waterproof from water coming in, but they're also waterproof on the water getting out. So open up those fly boxes, put it on your passenger seat, dry them out on the drive home, so that you don't see that. That's for blue. This is our oh my goodness, there's a Freudian slip. Goliath. I've had so many people say, "Where's the Goliath reel?" This is the whale. So this is the whale in a 12-14 weight. Yes, if you caught a bluegill on this, it would probably still be in orbit after you ripped it out of the water. So we brought these out in 3 different sizes with the intention of bringing out some other big rods, which we eventually did with the Goliath. So we have this in a 7.9, a 9.11, and a 12-14 weight. We've got guys catching pike and muskie on some of these. We've got guys doing saltwater for permit and tarpon. We've got guys doing Great Lakes fishing on these. I know Jason has a couple out in Pyramid Lake because it almost fishes like saltwater in the alkalinity out there. So this, if you want a saltwater reel, fully machined, very, very light, a few things here to lighten the weight of everything. Sometimes these big reels are they're just physically heavy, and it's hard to be casting all day long with a heavy reel. And they have a ton of capacity as well. So we actually didn't want to V-cut the spool because sometimes you need 300 yards of backing. And when you V-cut a spool, like you see on the Gideons, you lose some backing capacity. So we wanted to make sure we had max backing capacity on these reels. So we have this in the burnt orange and the black color now. And we have plenty of those in stock. And then we're bringing out that other color combo that we talked about earlier as well. In terms of projects for the future on rods and reels, we'll go over that since we just talked about both of those. I'm working on one project that's taking me a little bit longer, so I'm not going to announce it. I've talked to a few people about it, but not many. One thing that we're working on, I talked a little bit about the nymph rod. So we're going to bring out a regular series in a nymph rod series that we're trying to get super light. So I want to get a 5 weight under 3 ounces. So we're working on just cutting some weight out of some of the rod components just to be able to get a lighter weight rod without sacrificing the strength of the rod. I think a lot of super lightweight rods out there are breaking when they shouldn't. I've got a friend of mine who had cast a very, very well-known fly rod in a casting competition, and he's broken 3 of them in the butt section, loading up 90 feet of fly line. So sometimes lighter isn't better in terms of the quality of the, not necessarily the quality, but how light we're getting the graphite there. So we're not going to kind of tweak that a whole lot, but we're going to tweak some of the components with guides, reel seats, cork. So surprise, surprise, the golf grip that we have on the Goliath rod, we're going to put a golf grip on a traditional rod series as well. It's actually about 1/10 of an ounce lighter than cork and holding up a lot better. So that's one thing that we're going to be adding to this rod series. And then we're going to add a wide range, like I said, hopefully with our nymph rod series, we're going to get 6, 7, 8 different sizes. And then with the traditional series, we're going to get a handful of sizes as well. Because some of you are asking for like niche sizes. But in the next series, we're going to try to bring out some of those non-9-foot rods. So we're gonna bring that out. So that's working on rod-wise. Also, we're working on a very short, lightweight rod for small stream fishing. So I'm bringing out a rod series from 1 to 3 weights, potentially down to 0. I haven't decided if I want to get there yet. I should have the prototypes in hand here in the next month or two to start testing those out and potentially bring both of these rod series out by announcement of 2022. It takes us a while to actually fish them, run through adjustments that we have when we bring out a new product like that, and then get the final builds and approve them before we actually put them into production. I know it's been a while. Thank you guys for popping on. Make sure you use the code SHOW, SHOW, and hop onto the website. That's good for 20% off of everything from today, Friday, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. So yes, those are the projects we're working on. Yes. Hey, Aaron. I'll give a shout out to Aaron Laterra. He puts out some awesome streamer dubbings. So the streamer dubbing we have on the website is his. So he produces all of the raw materials for it in the US, blends it, puts all kinds of crazy color combinations together, and the stuff is so easy to work with. I'm actually going to grab a fly that I tied here with it as I bump everything. Here it is. We've got some shad that run through our local river systems. Oh, I just bumped everything. And we've got some hybrid striped bass that are in local rivers, and we have some stripers and some big lakes out there. And this streamer dubbing, as you can see with this fly here that's tied on our stainless steel hooks, our new eyes, and then his dubbing is so easy to use. So I've got 3 different colors on here. That's the only material that's used on this entire fly. I can tie this thing up in about 3 minutes flat, and it looks amazing in the water. It's got a flash already built into the material, and he's got all kinds of great colors. We're adding a lot more whenever he gets it to me here pretty soon. No pressure there, buddy. So yes, check this stuff out. It's so easy to work with, and it works so well in the water. It has such great movement to it. So check that stuff out. We have a handful of colors on the website. We'll be adding some more and doing that later. Jeff, yes, catches fish. It sure does, and it's so easy to tie. Yes, the other Jeff, spelled differently. It would be great. Good in a kayak, a shorter rod. Yes. We're going to go back to Ron's question here about our hooks. Most of our hooks go through the same number codes as TMCOs. So like our dry fly 100s or dry fly 101s are the same coding as TMCO does. Just because it was a simple system, it was easier for us to be able to do. Some of our other ones, like our saltwater hooks, those are just some things that, to be honest, just makes manufacturing through our manufacturer easier, and keeping some of the style numbers that they provide for a lot of other companies just similar to us. We've renamed a few things here and there to make it easier, but on it. I know a lot of you guys have been asking on that, and that's coming soon. So they're just about done with those. They should be done with those in the next month, and then we'll be getting them soon after. So I know we sell so many of those 9230 hooks. We wanted to give another option, and I'm trying to work on a streamer jig style hook as well. So I'm backing up so I don't bump the table again. So yes, so hooks, we're trying to keep it simple, but some of the other styles just don't match up because we're bringing out things that TMCO doesn't and whatever. So do your best to look at our wide range of products out there. In terms of hooks and beads, we've added a few things. We've got a lot of stuff out of stock because I've got 24 shipment boxes, like I said, with those 10-foot 3 weights that are stuck in customs right now. They should be here soon. So a lot of our hooks that are out of stock or low in stock will be back here very soon. Some of the big things we added last year, we added 5 new colors of slotted tungsten beads, glow in the dark, which are awesome. Fluorescent purple, fluorescent orange, olive, dirty olive. I think that was it. And they are all doing great. So we've got 3 or 4 other colors on top of that, as well as our countersunk tungsten, brass beads in a handful of colors. We also added bead chain eyes. We've got more cone heads in, and then the dumbbell eyes as well. So we wanted to expand some of that stuff because you guys were asking for it. We've got a few more hook styles, like I said, the 9240s coming out that we're going to be working on and continuing to expand that whole thing as well. Yes, so we talked about rods, we talked about reels, I just talked on hooks and beads. Let's talk about our fly boxes. I'll grab some of my favorites. So fly boxes. Instead of starting with the one that we sell the absolute most, I don't know if you guys can guess which one that is. I'm going to talk about one of my favorites. So this aluminum box, we just brought out 2 different colors. Has compartments on the inside of it. I love these for dry flies. Most traditional box, all you do, flip open a compartment, throw a handful of flies in there, and you're done. I like to use this side. So like I said before, I have the luxury of a few extra products on my hand. So I take one of these boxes and put all the flies I need for a hatch in there. So like I have a sulfur and March brown box because I hit that hatch a lot in a couple different areas. So I've got my emergers, my Catskill dries, my parachute dries, and my spinners all together in one box for those specific patterns and that specific hatch. And then I might throw some nymphs or something over there. But when I use a fly and it's wet, I'll throw it over here and dry it off and then throw it back in the compartment. So this is nice when I'm fishing. I grab this when I'm chasing a hatch. I grab tippet and maybe an extra leader and some floatant, and that's all I carry with me besides my rod and reel. So I've got about 8 of these in different hatches. I've got like a caddis box, drake box. We got brown drakes and green drakes here, blue-winged olives, and many types of flies rather than like, I'm just going to throw everything that I can in this box because it's new for me. I'm trying to organize yourself and make your life easier. Next, we'll talk about these silicone boxes. I just ordered 350 more of these in a couple different sizes that we offer. So we've got plenty in stock right now, but we sell so many of them, we needed more. These things are great. I won't mention who these compete with for copyright laws. We'll talk about that. That's a touchy subject. But these are great because, first of all, ours are waterproof. So we have a waterproof gasket that is built in here, that white section, I'm trying to do it in your image, that makes our boxes waterproof, unlike the competition out there. These slots in here, we adjusted them. You can probably take a guess why. And they're holding flies really tight. And unlike foam, these shouldn't degrade and rip up over time. One thing that I'm going to mention, I'm going to grab a fly here. Grab this. My phone's ringing. If it's you and you're on here, I'm sorry. Cicada flies. We've got this in green. All of our black and orange ones, I think somebody asked earlier, are out of stock. We're trying to get them in soon. We ordered so many, and so many of them sold because of the brood hatch coming up now. When you put a fly in these boxes, take the end of the hook, slide it in the point of that triangle, and push it back. It will hold in. I see so many people in all kinds of fly boxes putting the point in. All you're going to do is tear up that box. So take the bend of the fly, take it in the corner there, slide it back, it holds tight. So you will be just fine if you do that. And it will hold. So we have 4 different styles of these boxes. We have, this is our large. We have a medium that's about yay big. We have an extra large, which is a lot thicker and bigger. And then we have a double-sided box as well. We sell so many of these to so many people, it's ridiculous, and they all love them. I see people who are like, I'm getting rid of all my other boxes and replacing them with these. Not only are they phenomenal, but they're a lot better price as well. So they range from $14 to $23, which beats out some of the competition that's charging $30 to $40 for stuff like this. So grab a couple of these today on that coupon code. Last but not least is one of my favorite streamer boxes. This thing is like bulletproof. Don't quote me on that. Double-sided, waterproof, carrying a ton of flies. Some of you guys who own drift boats or pontoons or anything like that, it's a great boat box. Takes a beating and holds a ton of flies. Jeff just said, I didn't know that about putting the hooks in the other way. So holding a ton of flies or even some bigger flies. So when I did Alaska a couple years ago, I put a absolute ton of streamers, all of my flesh flies and egg-sucking leeches and all this other stuff on one side. On the other side, I put my mice and my wogs. Learn what a pink wog is if you're going to Alaska. You can catch salmon and rainbows and grayling. Some new big boxes as well. They should be here very soon. So the yellow briefcase box has been out of stock for a while. I thought I had like 2 more cases in storage, and they aren't there. So we've got some of those coming in, and we have some bigger briefcase boxes coming in as well in a couple different styles. I'm also working, I don't know if it's going to happen or not. I'm trying to get these silicone on the inside. People have been asking about them. We're working on trying to get that done. We need to get a specific mold built for the inside of this, but hopefully we'll get that done later. So we talked about reels, rods, hooks and beads, boxes. The other thing that we're going to talk about, let me grab 1 or 2. Is fly lines. We have a lot of new fly lines coming out, but unfortunately, the company that we use, they have a facility. They have a facility in the UK. And the UK facility has been shut down for like 8 months. So we've got some new lines coming out. We have a trout taper, a bass taper, a pike and muskie taper that we're working on now, but it's hard for them to make them when they're not open. So those are coming out as soon as we possibly can. We've added a few new lines in the last year or so, some new sizes and stuff as well. And then we're working on a couple of new things to work out as well. We're also going to bring out some sinking lines, intermediate lines. I know a lot of you guys have been asking that. Those are coming. So we've got great lines like our competition nymph line. This meets all the competition standards at 0.022 inches thick, and it's a level line. There's a lot of feel in this. Yes, Aaron, you have to fish to be able to use a fly line, just to let you know. Instead of making all that dubbing in your basement and eating Permane Brothers sandwiches, you can fish one of these days. Maybe we'll fish together soon. Yes, if you don't know what a Permane Brothers sandwich is, you need to, because it's amazing. So these are great. They have the indicator built in. We have this color, which is like the cream on the middle, and a chartreuse on both ends. And then we also have the orange ends on them as well that we just added last year. So these are great if you want. The purpose of these lines, I'll go into a little bit of detail on that, is you want better connection from your rod tip to your fly. And most of those weight forward lines give you a little bit of a sag, where this gives you a little bit more connection. And then also it doesn't leave a sag in between your rod guides, so that you have better feel for your for your fly line to your fly, your rod to your line, rod line to fly. There it is. Eventually said it. And then we also we brought out saltwater lines, so we have a floating and an intermediate, and we also brought them all the way up until 12 weights. You need a line for it. Yes. Also, Jason says very little to no memory on these as well, compared to some of the mono rigs out there that have some memory. I fish both. It just depends on what I'm feeling for the day, whether I fish this or a like 30-foot mono rig. If you're confused on that, on what that is, you can message me anywhere, and I'll be sure to answer that question for you. We also brought these out up to 12 weight to match up with the Goliath rods. So we have a saltwater line out, and we're going to bring out the pike and muskie taper as well to get out to the 12 weights for the guys that are fishing freshwater for that too. So new fly lines are coming. The facility that we get a lot of our other stuff on is bare bone staff. So the owner there said they had to let all of their employees go and lay them off because that's what the country said to do. So he and his business partner are the only ones running the whole facility. So some of our fly lines, we have one thing out of stock right now, but a couple are running low, but we hope to get everything fully in stock and lots of extra inventory here pretty soon. That's been the big thing, just to kind of talk about the brand, is we've grown so much in the last 2 to 3 years that I went from like needing this much inventory to needing this much inventory. So I'm trying to take everything, instead of like, oh, we're almost out of stock, I need to order now, like, oh, we're going to be out of stock in 6 months, so I need to order now so that I have way more than rather than trying to run out. So we've had a big boost in the amount of product that we're holding to try to keep up with the demand of you guys, and also the demand of new fly fishermen everywhere as they're getting into the sport, and women, which is women are some of the fastest growing demographic in fly fishing right now. Hey, Gary. Gary just logged on. Gary helps me out in the shop, and he's a huge help, and I appreciate him. So when I go away or just need a day off, Gary's been covering for me. But now I've got Gary helping out. And then I've got a new part-timer, Adam, that's going to be here 2 to 3 days a week. And then Derek, who's in here every single morning, doing a great job. So not only has this company been great in building up to, a full-time career for me, but now because of all you guys, I'm providing jobs for other people. And I look to continue to do that. Yes, you are here, Gary. So that's my goal. I want to make sure that I'm building this up for your guys' enjoyment, but also to be able to provide job opportunities for everybody else in this, where the market is and job losses out there. I'm trying to be able to help other people out with that as well and do something that they might enjoy or something they're going to learn to enjoy. So as things are growing, probably in the next 12 months to the fly shop. So we've got a very limited shop right now. It's holding everything, which is great, but as we're growing, we're going to need some more space here. And that'll create job opportunities as well. We're also guiding and doing all kinds of other fun stuff, adding more trips. So we want to be able to have other people that are employed by us to be able to help out with all that stuff so that you guys are better served as well. So we talked about most of our major products. One of the other things I want to talk about is our flies. As you can see, all of our fly displays here, that one looks empty, but it's just full of our tungsten beads. So we've got, here's a fun trick. See this magnet? It's great for when I want to take an entire bunch of flies out and move them to tungsten beads. Then we've got all our streamers there. We've got pull-out drawers. I have more drawers that are actually built that will be hung here in the next week for all the new flies we have. Between the flies that I already have arrived now and the ones coming in the next month or so, and we've got about 60 to 70,000 flies that will be hitting the website and the shop here in the near future. So if you're looking for flies, we have some of the best prices out there, and we have a very good selection as well. So be sure to check all of that out. Adding more dries, nymphs, eggs, streamers, we're adding all of it, as well as, like I said before, saltwater patterns are coming in too. So check all those out. We have 90-cent flies. And then for all of our basic nymphs, dries, and eggs, all of our streamers are at $1.75. All of our tungsten beads, like our big, nasty, articulated streamers like these guys. There's a lot of trout actually on these. So, and then other species like bass and stripers and all kinds of other fun stuff. So check out our flies. It's constantly being expanded every time that I put an order in to fill stock of things we're out of. Yeah, I'll get to that, Ron. And we try to add new patterns to it as well. So I want to make sure that we're getting things not only useful here in our area in the west or in the east, but out west as well. Where do we get our flies from? That's a great question. So a lot of people say, how can you, when all these other shops are selling Prince nymph for $2.50, how are you selling them for 90 cents? A lot of the other big fly shops out there order through a middleman. I need a drink of water, so bear with me a second. I've only been talking for an hour straight, so yes. So flies, there's a lot of companies out there that order from middlemen companies. I won't mention some of them because you probably know who they are. Those companies are getting flies made overseas. There's a couple of them that get a select few flies made in the States. Not many flies are made in the States just because of labor wages. Not that that's an issue right now at all. But yeah, even if you're selling a fly for $2.50, you need some markup on it. So so when you're paying a middleman and paying the originator, then that's why the fly prices are up. We cut the middleman out and went direct. So most people don't know Kenya makes probably 70% of the flies in the whole market. Like, oh, these Kenyans that are trying to push flies on us on Facebook. Well, guess what? They're probably tying most of the flies, if not all the flies, in your local fly shops as well. Kenya, Sri Lanka, some are made in the Europe, UK area, some are made in the States, make flies, but parts of Africa, including Kenya, make most of the flies for the entire industry. So we've been working with a tying group there for about 5 years now. And they allow us to send our own specific patterns and other well-known patterns. Most of the tyers are women. just more detail oriented, and there's not a big job market for them there. So they do a phenomenal job of tying flies and tying lots and lots of them. So for instance, when they're fully staffed, they'll do that 30,000 fly order in about 6 weeks. So they do a great job there. And the few minor issues that we've had, they fix very quickly for us. So shout out to those guys out there that are tying, and ladies out there that are tying phenomenal flies for us. One of the big issues that you always have to worry about with that is hook quality. I can count on one hand how many people complain about the hooks that they're buying on our flies in a year. And usually it's user error. They get stuck on a rock and the hook bends. It's very rarely that you're getting, Gary's talking about being a tough critic on the flies and saying they do a great job, especially the proportions on the dries that are tied there. So yeah, usually sometimes you get some shoddy flies because of the hook quality there, but ours, a big pressure on them to put out our flies on good quality hooks, and we're responding with good stuff there. YouTube, looks like you guys are going to quit on me here pretty soon because my battery's running low. I'm only running 4 devices at the same time right now. So yes, check out all our flies. We've got a great selection at great prices, and don't forget to order them in half dozens. Derek gets angry when somebody orders 5 flies. They're like, you realize you can order another fly for like 30 cents? So we give a discount whenever you order half a dozen of the exact same fly on the website. Thank you guys that are already ordering, probably checking things out here. We're seeing some orders come through, and they're probably from you guys, so I appreciate all of you guys. Let's see here. The only other things that we're going to discuss, we've got some products in the shop that aren't going to be on the website. Let me fix this real quick. So we're carrying other products like Aaron's streamer dubbing. His actually is on the website, but we carry a bunch of it in the shop. We're carrying a waiter brand. We carry, I got to kill a few birds first. So we've got a lot more coming soon. He's putting out a phenomenal product at a great price compared to a lot of the big companies out there, and he's using genetics from them. So a grade 1 neck saddle for $55 is insane, and the quality looks just as good as the $80 to $100 necks and saddles that other companies are putting out. Also doing shout out to Bo at Catch Cam Nets. We've got some of his products in our shop, and he just opened a shop last year in West Virginia called Natives Fly Shop. So check him out if you're in the West Virginia area. His nets are like bomb proof. They're just really awesome in the design, and they also have an adapter to put a GoPro or other action camera on there. So we've sold a handful of them just in the last few weeks here in the shop, and we've got a couple more coming in. But he also has our rods and reels in his shop too. So we've been kind of doing some collaborative work there. What else can we talk about? We've got, other tying stuff. Some people are asking, like, why don't we have some of these brands on the website? I've been trying to adjust the website recently to just be our branded products and things out and make it simple. Because unfortunately, not everybody can hop into the shop and look at some of this stuff, but we want to just keep everything on our website, our stuff. So you might even see some less in terms of like tying materials, like some of the other dubbings and different things that we have on there. Get off of the website, because as we're growing as a brand, we want to just be showing off our brand. So overall, everything's been going great. We appreciate all of you guys. And just looking at some of the questions, Jeff. Yes, you got one of those. One of our other great. Shane's also early on, before he decided to jump on the Subway bandwagon, helped out in the shop. So I appreciate Shane. Shane's over here on Instagram. Love your tungsten color beads. Can't wait to tie more with your tying products. Yes, our tungsten beads have been phenomenal in all the different colors that we have out. Shane just needs to learn how to fish better. And get rid of the purple moth fly. No offense. Nang just joined. Nang has been, Nang owns Crazy Thai Restaurant in Beaver Falls if you're local. And he comes in here almost as much as I do. So Nang's been a great new friend in the shop, and it's been great to kind of meet a lot of you local guys as well. And what up, homie? Yes, Nang is a great fisherman, except when he has that dirty center pin rod in his hand. So I appreciate Nang. We've been good friends, and one of these days we're going to fish together, and I'll show him how it's done. But that's been a great thing about the shop, and I look forward to one big thing that I'll mention now is now that I've got a part-timer in the shop with Adam, I plan on going to all the shops that have our gear and doing either an event or spending a day there just to spend some time and meet more of you guys all across the country. So now that I'm hiring people, it gives me a little bit more freedom to do that. So I'd love to meet people, and that's what's been so fun about the shop is being able to meet people and see them. Sometimes more often than they should be in the shop and just hang out with them and see how I can help them out and share some fun stories and things like that. So I look forward to visiting some other shops out there and doing some face-to-face interaction with some of you guys. So we've got a handful of shops in Pennsylvania, one in Vermont. We just had another one in Illinois, one in Texas. Shout out to Grapevine. If you're down in Texas, check them out. They just did their grand opening a couple weeks ago. And then the first shop I ever had my gear in is Seth Waters up in the Upper Peninsula, Michigan, in Iron River, Michigan. If you're ever looking for some amazing fishing and a great guide up there, check Seth out. But I want to get some better explanation out there to you guys. So I've been talking straight for an hour and 15 minutes and 52 seconds right now. And nobody wants to see me for that long. I thank all of you guys for checking everything out. Last but not least, make sure you log on to the website, use the code SHOW at checkout. You're going to save 20% off of everything. And that's good for today through Sunday. So like 2.5 days now. What do you got in here, Gary? Once the pandemic ends, we should do social Saturdays. Customers and friends can come out, chat, have coffee and donuts. Coffee and donuts and probably maybe an adult beverage or two. I want to do some partnership with some of the microbreweries around the area. So that'll be fun. Also, for some of you local people, I'm going to have some fun on the YouTube channel here pretty soon and do like some fun competition style things with some giveaways. So keep an eye out on that. And we'll also do giveaways for you guys who don't live in the area too. So this wacky brain of mine has come up with some fun ideas. So look forward to that. I might give some things away in the shop with opportunities for that, or just invite some people that I know that might need some new gear because they've fallen on hard times for this, and give them some opportunity to win some stuff. Oh, yes. No, you're not the same guy. I know you now. He's got a similar, he's got a similar handle on Instagram. You tie some amazing flies. Shane Dog over here on Instagram. So Shane Dog 74. He's out in Reno with Jason. And the flies that he ties are absolutely amazing. I feel like if I tried to tie something like that, it'd take me like 3 hours. And I'm sure some of that does take you a long time. But yes, I'm glad you're loving our stuff. That pattern that you tied with our glow-in-the-dark beads was super awesome. So check him out. Look in the comments on the Instagram page and check his stuff out. And looking forward to getting some more stuff in your hand so that you can keep liking all of the original. I hope it's going well. It's going well. Yeah, she's the biggest thing because she allowed me to work this company for like 7.5 years without making much money on it. So she's been a great support to help me kind of realize the dream of opening up the shop and turning it into a full-time job and being able to help all these other people get out into the sport, get outside, enjoy creation, catch some fun fish, share pictures and stories online in the shop. So we love all of you guys for that.